Hello, everyone. Remember when a prince left his palace, traveled to Queens, and pretended to be an ordinary man in search of something money could never buy? True love? With unforgettable disguises, legendary lines, and laughter that has crossed generations. That story became one of the most beloved comedies ever made. But time never stands still. More than 3 decades later, where are the faces who once made us laugh? Today, we look back at the cast and discover where their lives have taken them in 2026. King Jaffy Joffer, portrayed by James Earl Jones at the age of 57, was the dignified ruler of Zamunda and the father behind every expectation placed upon Prince Akeem. Jaffy was more than a king on a throne. He was a father who had spent his life protecting tradition, honor, and the future of his kingdom. He loved Akeem deeply, but royal love came with responsibility. From childhood, Akeem had been prepared to become the next king, and Jaffy believed a prince should accept his arranged marriage to Imani, the woman raised to become his queen. When Akeem rejected that path and traveled to Queens in search of true love, their relationship was tested. Beneath his stern exterior, however, Jaffy remained a humorous, tender-hearted father who eventually learned to respect his son's choices. James Earl Jones was born on January 17, 1931, in Arcabutla, Mississippi, and passed away on September 9, 2024, in New York at the age of 93. As a child, he struggled with severe stuttering and spent years speaking very little. Yet that same voice later became one of the most recognizable in popular culture through Darth Vader in Star Wars and Mufasa in The Lion King. His remarkable career earned him 2 Tony Awards, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, a Grammy Award, and an Honorary Academy Award in 2011. Queen Olean, portrayed by Madge Sinclair at the age of 50, was the dignified queen of Zamunda and the woman standing beside King Jaffy Joffer. As Prince Akeem's mother, Olean represented a generation shaped by royal tradition, ceremony, honor, and duty. She understood that her son was destined to become king, which meant his marriage to Imani was more than a personal choice. It was part of a royal order carefully prepared for the future. With limited dialogue, Sinclair created a queen of remarkable presence through her voice, posture, and subtle gestures. Beneath Olean's calm exterior was a woman who understood the weight of responsibility, family, and sacrifice. Madge Dorita Sinclair was born on April 28, 1938, in Kingston, Jamaica, and passed away on December 20, 1995, in Los Angeles at the age of 57, after battling leukemia for about 13 years. A former teacher, she moved to New York in 1968 to pursue acting. Her career included Roots, Trapper John, M.D., and the voice of Sarabi in The Lion King. Despite her illness, Sinclair continued working for years with remarkable strength and professionalism. Colonel Izzy, portrayed by Calvin Lockhart at the age of 53, was the head of the Izzy family and the father of Imani, the woman chosen to become Prince Akeem's future wife. In his world, marriage was not simply a matter of love between 2 young people. It was a powerful connection between families of status and influence. Colonel Izzy carried himself like a man accustomed to authority, discipline, and protecting his family's honor. He believed his daughter had been prepared for a remarkable future, and that marrying Akeem would place Imani at the highest level of Zamundan society. With his deep voice, rigid posture, and controlled expression, Lockhart created a man who seemed to represent an older royal world being challenged by a younger generation. Calvin Lockhart was born on October 18, 1934, in Nassau, Bahamas, and passed away on March 29, 2007, in his homeland at the age of 72, following complications from a stroke. He originally studied engineering but left school to pursue acting, working as a construction worker, laborer, and taxi driver before finding success. After his career slowed, he returned to the Bahamas in the 1990s and became involved with theater, later continuing to pursue film and stage work. Mortimer Duke, portrayed by Don Ameche at the age of 80, returned as a wealthy, arrogant, and calculating tycoon who represented an elite world convinced that money could determine a person's value. As the older Duke brother, Mortimer had the confidence of a man who had spent his entire life surrounded by power. Yet his encounters with Akeem placed him in a world where wealthy men who believed themselves untouchable could suddenly become the victims of their own absurd circumstances. Ameche played the character with quiet authority, using his elegant presence, cold expressions, and effortless confidence. The role became especially memorable because it arrived during one of Hollywood's most unexpected career comebacks. Don Ameche, born Dominic Felix Amici on May 30, 1908, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, passed away on December 6, 1993, in Scottsdale, Arizona, at the age of 85 from prostate cancer. A major Hollywood and radio star of the 1930s and 1940s, he made a remarkable comeback at 75 with Trading Places. He later won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for Cocoon in 1986, proving that age did not have to mark the end of a great actor's career. Randolph Duke, portrayed by Ralph Bellamy at the age of 84, was the other half of the powerful Duke family, a wealthy dynasty convinced that money could determine a person's place in society. Standing beside his brother Mortimer, Randolph represented an older world of financial power where a man's decisions could affect the lives of countless others. He had no need to fight for every dollar because he was already accustomed to privilege and influence. Yet that confidence also made him a symbol of a wealthy, arrogant society that judged people by status and fortune. Through a calm voice, knowing expressions, and effortless authority, Bellamy made Randolph instantly memorable. Ralph Rexford Bellamy was born on June 17, 1904, in Chicago, Illinois, and passed away on November 29, 1991, in Santa Monica, California, at the age of 87 from a lung disease. His career spanned nearly 65 years across theater, film, television, and Broadway. He received an honorary Academy Award in 1987, a Tony Award, and the Screen Actors Guild Life Achievement Award. Bellamy continued acting well into his 80s, becoming one of Hollywood's most respected legends. Maurice, portrayed by Louis Anderson at the age of 35, was an ordinary employee at McDowell's in a world filled with princes, kings, and wealthy families. He had no power and played no major role in changing Akeem's destiny, but that everyday quality made him instantly relatable. Working behind the counter, Maurice reacted to the strange situations around him with natural humor, bewilderment, and the kind of ordinary disbelief audiences recognized immediately. Anderson understood that even a small supporting role in a major comedy could become unforgettable with just a few perfectly timed moments. He brought the character his trademark awkward charm and self-deprecating humor. Louis Perry Anderson was born on March 24, 1953, in St. Paul, Minnesota, and passed away on January 21, 2022, in Las Vegas at the age of 68, from complications of diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. Raised in a family of 11 children, he overcame a difficult childhood and became a successful comedian after winning a comedy contest in 1981. He later earned 2 Daytime Emmys for Life with Louis and a Primetime Emmy in 2016 for Baskets. Even while battling cancer, Anderson continued working and appearing before audiences. Prince Akeem, portrayed by Eddie Murphy at the age of 27, was the heir to Zamunda's throne, but a young prince determined not to live the life written for him. Born into royalty, Akeem was surrounded by wealth, ceremony, and people who insisted his future had already been decided. Yet beneath the crown, he longed to be seen as an ordinary man. He did not want to marry Amani, simply because tradition demanded it. He wanted a woman who loved him, not his title. Murphy constantly shifted between the energy of a young prince, an elderly barber, an older Jewish customer, and a confident soul singer. That remarkable versatility made Akeem the heart of a comedy about love, freedom, identity, and discovering who you must become before you can lead others. Edward Regan Murphy was born on April 3, 1961, in Brooklyn, New York, and is now 65 years old. After beginning stand-up comedy as a teenager, Murphy became a breakout star on Saturday Night Live in the early 1980s, before becoming one of Hollywood's biggest movie stars through 48 H'ers, Beverly Hills Cop, and many other hits. He received an Academy Award nomination for Dreamgirls and won an Emmy Award. In 2026, he received the AFI Life Achievement Award, one of the highest honors in American cinema. Semi, portrayed by Arsenio Hall at the age of 32, was Prince Akeem's closest friend, loyal assistant, and trusted companion. Raised within Zamunda's royal world, Semi had served beside Akeem long before they arrived in Queens. Yet their relationship was far more than that of a servant and prince. Semi was the one person who could argue with Akeem, complain about his reckless decisions, and speak honestly when everyone else remained silent. When Akeem left royal luxury to search for true love, Semi followed him into the unfamiliar world of cramped apartments, ordinary jobs, and everyday life in New York. Their contrasting personalities created much of the comedy. Akeem embraced simplicity, while Semi constantly missed the comforts of royalty. Arsenio Hall was born on February 12, 1956, in Cleveland, Ohio, and is 70 years old in 2026. After his breakthrough, he hosted the Arsenio Hall Show from 1989 to 1994, creating a new space for Black artists, musicians, and younger voices on late-night television. After the show ended, he stepped away from the spotlight to raise his son and live more privately. He later won Celebrity Apprentice in 2012 and returned to television with a new version of his classic talk show. Cleo McDowell, portrayed by John Amos at the age of 48, was a strong father, a restaurant owner, and a man who remained cautious about anyone entering his daughters' lives. As the father of Lisa and Patrice, Cleo had spent years building his business and family through hard work. He did not easily trust Akeem, especially when the young man appeared to be a poor employee while speaking and behaving with unusual confidence and refinement. To Cleo, Lisa was not simply his daughter. She was someone he felt responsible for protecting. Behind his tough exterior, however, was a father deeply concerned about his child's future. Amos balanced humor with the emotional weight of a protective father, making Cleo both funny and genuinely believable. John Allen Amos Jr. was born on December 27, 1939, in Newark, New Jersey, and passed away on August 21, 2024, in Los Angeles at the age of 84. Before acting, he worked as an advertising copywriter, social worker, and semi-professional football player while serving in the New Jersey National Guard. He became known for Good Times and Roots, and Lisa McDowell, portrayed by Shari Headley at the age of 23, was Cleo McDowell's intelligent, independent, strong-willed daughter, and the woman who first showed Akeem the love he was truly searching for. Raised in a comfortable family, Lisa was never defined by her father's money or status. She knew what she wanted and refused to let any man control her life. Although Daryl was wealthy and successful, Lisa was not won over by money alone. With Akeem, she was drawn to his sincerity and the way he treated her as an ordinary person. When the truth about his royal identity was revealed, Lisa felt betrayed, yet remained strong enough to choose her own future. Headley brought depth to a woman balancing independence, love, heartbreak, and self-respect. Shari Headley was born on July 15, 1964, in Queens, New York, and is 62 years old in 2026. She once dreamed of becoming a doctor and studied pre-med before a Ford Models competition unexpectedly led her into entertainment. After her breakthrough as Lisa McDowell, she built a successful television career with roles in All My Children, Walker, Texas Ranger, and many other series. In 2026, Headley continues working in entertainment with Lisa remaining the role that changed her life. Daryl Jenks, portrayed by Eric LaSalle at the age of 26, was the young heir to the family behind Soul Glow hair care products and Lisa McDowell's boyfriend before Akeem entered her life. Raised in wealth, Daryl was accustomed to money, status, and a polished appearance opening almost every door. Confident and stylish, he believed he was the perfect choice for Lisa, but that confidence gradually became arrogance. When he learned Lisa was dating a poor McDowell's employee, Daryl became Akeem's direct rival, creating a humorous clash between genuine love and the power of wealth. LaSalle made Daryl charming enough to understand why Lisa once loved him, yet arrogant enough to show why their relationship ultimately failed. Eric LaSalle was born on July 23, 1962, in Hartford, Connecticut, and is 63 years old. He studied at Juilliard before earning a Bachelor of Fine Arts from NYU's Tisch School of the Arts in 1984. His biggest breakthrough came as Dr. Peter Benton on ER, earning 3 NAACP Image Awards and Emmy and Golden Globe nominations. He later became a director, producer, and author, writing crime novels including Laws of Depravity, Laws of Wrath, and Laws of Annihilation. The landlord, portrayed by Frankie Faison at the age of 39, was the owner of the Queens property, where Akeem and Semi rented a place, while beginning their new lives far from the royal world they knew. Unlike the people surrounding Akeem in Zamunda, the landlord was not impressed by titles or stories of royalty. He cared about practical matters, especially rent and the people living in his building. That ordinary attitude made him an amusing contrast to Akeem. Though his screen time was brief, Faison gave the character a sense of life beyond the story, using natural, restrained acting to make the landlord memorable in the colorful world of Queens. Frankie Russell Faison was born on June 10, 1949, in Newport News, Virginia, and is 77 years old in 2026. He studied theater at Illinois Wesleyan University and earned an MFA from NYU's Tisch School of the Arts. After beginning on the Shakespearean stage, he moved into film and television and received a Tony Award nomination for Fences. Faison also made history as the only actor to appear in all 4 films connected to the Hannibal Lecter character. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to the cherished memories of a time gone by. If today's story brought back a special memory, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts with us. Until we meet again in another nostalgic story.